So this is a quick video to show you the difference between using I and me when you have to speak or write those two words. So when you're speaking or writing and you're talking about you and someone else, the choice of I or me becomes a little bit sticky. You see, I is always the subject of a verb. It does or is something. And me is always the object of a verb. Its purpose is to receive the action of a verb. But don't let that stop you or worry you. It is now easy to understand which one of these to use if you're only talking about yourself. It's really easy to say, I am hungry. But the minute you add other people into the sentence, you're immediately forced into making a decision. Let's imagine that you and your friend Bill are hungry and you want to tell someone. You have two decisions you have to make. The first decision you have to make is who comes first? So that question is pretty easy because the second question is the harder one. When referring to yourself, do you use I or me? So the way to do this is to figure out two things separately and then put them together. So you're going to solve the problems one at a time. First problem, who comes first? That's the easy one. The other people always come first in your sentences. Now, as a young person, you may have always put yourself first. And you might have said, me and Bill are hungry. Or maybe we even said, I and Bill are hungry. But that doesn't work because Bill is your friend. He always comes first. You never come first. I'll repeat that again. When you have a compound subject, you and someone else, you always come last. Now, the second part of this is using I or me. And how do you do that? Well, the best way to do it is not worry if it's the subject or the object and just simply say the sentence out loud without the other person in it. So instead of saying, is it Bill and I are hungry or Bill and me are hungry, just drop Bill and say, me are hungry or me is hungry. And you would never say that unless, of course, you're a caveman. You would say, I am hungry. And so if you put those two together, Bill's coming first, and then you would say, Bill and I are hungry. So that works out pretty well. Now, if there are more hungry people, say his sister Anne, you still put them first and follow the same rule about dropping them to determine if you should use I or me. The order in which you put the others, though, is up to you. It doesn't matter as long as they always come first and you always come last. This is called polite order. So Bill, Anne, and I are hungry, or you could even put Anne first and say, Anne, Bill, and I are hungry, but you would never say, I, Bill, and Anne are hungry because you would never put yourself first. So always put the other people first. Then remember, it doesn't matter if there's more than one of them, which one comes first. And then finally, the choice between the pronouns I and me, well, that depends on if you drop the other people and then try it with I and then try it with me and see which one sounds good. That's how you do it.